A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Marcus Aurelius. Who do you believe that you can be? Today, I'm going to challenge you to be the chosen one. I'm going to challenge you to be the individual, be the man who gives himself and his family and his future the life that he deserves, the life that they deserve. I'm going to challenge you to do that because I experienced this before I started making six figures, before I started learning sales and mastering my skill set and building the life that I want, having the freedom that I wanted, running my business the way that I wanted. Before that, I always kept my ambitions. I always kept my goals within reach. My goals were a comfort zone. My goals were always just one step away from where I already was. And I never pushed myself outside of that goal comfort zone because I didn't actually know who I could be. Welcome to the principle of becoming the chosen one. You being the chosen one means you stepping into a reality where you believe that you are the man who can change future generations for your family. The question I have for you before we go into this is, do you want to be that person? Do you want to be that man who creates a life of abundance, creates a life of freedom, and gives himself and his future everything that he wants and more? Because there's a moment where a man must realize that he's ultimately the only person responsible for his own greatness. And that's a moment that all men must confront. The difference is some men, most men, shy away from that moment. They see it, it comes across their mind, and then they move past it and they get back to the routine. They get back to the day-to-day of settling and never actually stepping up and becoming the man who can change his future and give himself and give those who matter most everything he wants. Because the truth is, no one is coming to save you. Unfortunately, that's the reality. No one is coming to save you. You must save yourself, and you must provide a path for yourself and future generations. So the question I have for you is, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to step up and be that man? Because if you are, we're going to learn about it here. I'm going to teach you how to become the chosen one, because I know for my family, I am the chosen one. I am the one who is going to take my future generations, and I'm going to give them everything that they want and more because of the work that I'm doing literally right here, right now, at this time, in this place. I'm setting myself up for that greatness. I'm going to give you the fastest path to success. Here is the path. The first thing you need to do is accept responsibility. This is the first thing. You must avoid complacency like the plague. If you want to become the chosen one, become the man who can guide yourself to freedom, where you can take yourself out of the mud, you can master your skill sets, you can master yourself, and you can get to where you want to be in your life and give yourself everything you want and more. You must avoid complacency like the plague, and you must take on responsibility. This is ultimately where it begins, and this will separate you from 90% of men, because most people are not taking on responsibility. And taking on responsibility doesn't mean just showing up for your job. It means showing up to be the chosen one, showing up to do what's exceptional, because my responsibility isn't the same as every other man who's just in the haze, what some people call the matrix. I call it the haze. I'm not just sitting in the haze, going to my job, keeping my head down, do what's being told. I'm consistently creating and achieving and competing and playing the game to win. That's the responsibility I take on. Complacency is not taking on responsibility. What I want you to realize is that greatness comes with responsibility. They come hand in hand. On sales calls, I challenge my prospects in this all the time. When I sell, when I close deals, 10K, 20K deals, I consistently challenge my prospects to take on responsibility, and I ask this question to them, and I'll show you how I do it. I look at my prospect, I look them right in the eyes across Zoom, and I say, can I ask, why is now the time where you're ready to step up and actually become the man who is going to get everything that he wants and more, create the relationships he wants, creates the freedom he wants? Why is it that right now you're ready to become that man? Why? That's me challenging the person I'm talking to take on responsibility, because greatness requires responsibility. Greatness, any great leader in history, any great leader that we look up to as men, even film characters that have been written, any character that has greatness takes on responsibility. They take on weight. Greatness comes with weight. And I don't say this lightly. I really mean this. If you want to create a path of greatness for yourself and for your future generations, you must embrace responsibility. You must embrace being the man, being the individual who can lead himself forward and then lead others. Then what's going to happen is you're going to fulfill the responsibility. When you can embrace the weight, when you can embrace the significance of what is actually upon you and just how serious it is for you to move forward and for you to step out of your comfort zone and for you to accept responsibility. Only then can you fulfill the responsibility. Only then. And fulfilling the responsibility looks like number 2, which is pursuing mastery. And that's what I want you to understand. That's why I make these videos in our community. You can see the link down below, Quantum Level. We're all about pursuing mastery in sales. Pursuing mastery in sales, bringing in money for your own business, or if you're in the sales space, bringing in tens of thousands of dollars every single month. But the way you do this and the way you give yourself the freedom, as all the guys who are training with me in Quantum Level know, you can check it out below. It's free to join. You must pursue mastery. And this means mastery of skill. That's number 1. And then mastery of self. Because the truth is, if you're going to take on responsibility, which is the first step, if you're going to avoid complacency, this then means that you have to perform better than almost every single man in at least one core skill set and also in the standards you set for yourself. It's not enough to be average. See, because complacency and average go hand in hand. They go together just like this. Being complacent and being average go together. So if you want to step out of the haze, if you want to achieve greatness, if you want to give back to your family, if you want to give yourself freedom, you must not be average. Because by default, you being average is related to you being complacent. Because if you're not complacent, you're not going to be average. Because if you're not complacent, you're going to work hard enough and put the steps in place, master the skills, master yourself to be the kind of man who can step up and create what he wants in his life. Right? These two things don't go hand in hand. Being exceptional immediately disqualifies you being average. It immediately does. Taking on responsibility disqualifies you from being average. By the fact that you take on the responsibility, that puts you in a category of your own relative to most other men, because most other men will not take on responsibility. That's the key. And I want you to understand this. Mastery of your skill set, mastery of yourself will place you in the top percentile of men who want the same results as you, because most people will not get the results. There is this amazing quote from the book Atomic Habits, which I suggest everyone read. It's one of the most powerful books that I've ever read in my life, right under psycho-cybernetics. And this book taught me the science and the psychology of creating habits that will change your life, and it's helped me make big changes in my life. What's very interesting, James Clear, the author, what he states is that people in life oftentimes have the same ideas. They have the same desires. The desires are the same. Everyone wants to make 100K in a year. Everyone wants to make $1 million. Everyone wants to be the star. Everyone wants to have the family they want. Everyone wants to have the freedom. The difference between those who have the results and those who don't have the results isn't in the desire, because everyone has the desire. So having the passion, just having the desire in itself is not enough. But the question is, 1, do you take on responsibility? And 2, do you create habits that lead to mastery? Because these habits that lead to mastery is where the actual tangible results are going to come from. You're always going to be limited either by your skill or by yourself. You're going to always be limited by your skill or yourself. The key is that neither of these things should limit you. I'll say it again so you remember this. You're always going to either be limited by your skill set or by yourself. The key to excellence, the key to mastery is where none of these things limit you, where you master your skill and you master yourself. And mastery of the self allows you to accelerate how you learn your skill. So in Quantum Level, again, the link is below. You can come join, train with me on sales. I'm going to put you through the ringer and teach you exactly how to make more money the way I've done, the way I've given myself freedom. I'm going to give you these skills. You're going to train with us. One of the things that I talk about in Quantum Level is the speed of taking responsibility and the speed of mastery, which a lot of men don't do. A lot of men sit in a comfort zone. They sit back and they bask just in this glow of feeling comfortable, feeling good, feeling safe, feeling secure, whatever they're looking for, and they never achieve mastery of skill or they never achieve mastery of self. They stay average across the board. But what I've done, what the guys I work with do, the people who I've seen step up the most, my mentors, what they do, what we do is we ultimately prioritize mastery of skill and mastery of self, and we do it with speed. So we take on the responsibility to master ourselves, to become the men who can have the results that we want because we also master the skills. As an example, sales, getting to an elite level in sales. Some of you know my first skill was dating and communication, getting to an elite level at communicating with women and building relationships with women so that then I could teach that skill to other men and help men take control of their dating lives, which also provided me an amazing income. And I met some amazing individuals through that process. And it opened up a whole world for me where I could travel the entire world making $15K per month consistently because I was teaching other men how to connect with women, how to communicate, how to set boundaries, how to lead. Now I do that in sales. And now I provide other companies with those same principles for their sales process, which has given me a bunch of freedom, an amazing lifestyle freedom. But the reason ultimately is because I've prioritized skill set mastery and self-mastery, and I've done it with speed. I haven't taken my time. I've taken on the responsibility of a man who moves to these goals quickly. Now, outside of responsibility and outside of mastery, the third principle is build the vision. You must build the vision. In Dune, Paul Atreides, who's the character that's in my thumbnail for this video, he's someone that I feel is a very well-written, inspirational character. As some of you guys know, I love watching movies, and I love novels about fantasy and with the character's hero's journey, Star Wars, those kind of things. I love them. I love these epic tales. I think they're so inspirational and amazing, especially films. I love film. So in Dune, Paul, he has visions of these possible futures. I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't seen it, but I suggest every man watch Dune and look at the Dune series. It's such an interesting character evolution for one of the main characters. Paul, who's one of these main characters, who's at a certain point in this series has a lot of weight placed on his shoulders because of some decisions he has to make that affect his family's future legacy. One thing that happens is he has the ability to have dreams and see visions and things like that. He has visions of many possible futures. These visions are very real to him, and they influence his path and his growth and his journey. I think the same thing applies in real life. A sales strategy that I use when I talk to prospects and I move them into making a buying decision is I get them to visualize and taste success. And then I also get them to visualize and taste fear. I want them to see both sides. And what's interesting is the question presents itself, can you lead yourself to become the chosen one because of the future that you envision and create for yourself? Can you do that? Because the truth is most men won't. They simply won't do it. And it's not because they can't, it's because they don't take on the responsibility to do so. They don't see themselves as the chosen one. And guys, I don't care if this sounds extreme, but this is the reality. Every single day that I wake up, I sit in my bed and I do a quick meditation, 10, 15 minutes. In my bed, I just get present and I tell myself, I visualize, I dream, I am the chosen one. I am the one who will lead my family to the next level. And credit to my family, credit to my parents, credit to everyone in my family who's brought me to this point, because they're amazing and I've learned so much from them. My father's done quite well, but I know there's another level I can get to, and I've chosen to take on that responsibility for myself and my future. I've chosen to, and I will take it on. The question is, will you step up and take it on? This is something called future memory. Future memory is where you meditate. I do this every Sunday in my bed. You meditate with the vision in mind. Or excuse me, on Sundays, I don't do this in my bed. I actually properly meditate. Every morning, I do this in my bed. As I wake up, I sit and breathe. But every Sunday, I actually go and do a cold immersion, and I meditate in that immersion. And I sit with the vision in my mind, sights, sounds, smells, tastes, the experiences, who I'm with, who is the women in my life, who are the friends in my life, who are the people that I'm surrounded by. I sit and I meditate on this. I sit and I breathe it and I become it. And it creates something that we call future memory, where I haven't experienced it yet, but I have it in my mind almost as a memory of an experience. And I have 4 of these experiences now, 4 of these future experiences that I have created in my mind. And I've been doing this practice for a while. And what's very interesting is I've noticed as I've done this, the way that I make money, the conversations that I have, the friendships that I'm creating, the network that I have has all started to shift and change because I can see a vision. I can see a future. I can see it. I can feel it. I can taste it. I build the vision. What I want you to do from here is I want you to go execute on this. The challenge I give you is to become the chosen one. Become the man who can lead his family into greatness. Become the man who chooses to take on the responsibility of the future that you want to have. Not as some fantasy of, oh, it's time for me to work hard and escape the matrix. No, none of that bullshit. I want you to adopt the vision, adopt the responsibility, adopt the mastery of the man who is the chosen one, the man who bears the cloak, who bears the mantle of success for his future, because it requires you adopting that personality, adopting that character, adopting that behavior. I was talking to a client of mine earlier. He's someone I'm still working with in dating, one of my consulting clients. I love this guy. If you're watching this, brother, you know who you are. And one of the things we were talking about was how he communicates. He's a very talented guy, very hard worker. He's one step away from greatness, actually. But what's very interesting is when he communicates in his tone, oftentimes there's a lack of confidence and it's as he's unsure of himself in his tone. He's a bit, he's not fully committed to what he says. And one of the things that I've gone over with him and I'm helping him to understand is that in order for other people to respect you and for you to really create what you want and attract the results you want because of what you do, people must feel from you that your identity and how you see yourself is someone who is to be respected. So what I'm talking about with you here is not some concept, like some little exercise like, bro, be confident, or bro, it's time to like work hard. I'm not telling you that. I'm literally telling you to adopt the personality traits of the version of you who is the chosen one for his family. And you adopt those traits by one, taking on responsibility and saying the grind, the pain, the weight that comes with being this chosen one, I will accept it and I will not shy away from it. I will accept it and it will become me. I will take it upon my shoulders and I will accept this. The second part of this is mastery. Choosing to master your skill set and becoming better than, 95% of individuals, where you're top 1%. I become this way in sales. I became this way in coaching. I became this way in dating. My 3 areas. I know for a fact that you put me around 100 men in any arena, any scenario, I am better than 95, probably 99 of them at those 3 skill sets. That is not a question. That is a fact, because I've invested tens of thousands of dollars in training and mentorship and thousands of hours in coaching myself, learning, putting it in the field, testing it to become that man, and then building the dream. Do you see the futures? Do you see the possibilities? Can you see them in your head? Can you experience them? Can you breathe them? Are they there? Are they real to you? Or is it some convoluted fantasy where you don't believe it's a real thing? Where are you at with this? Go forward from here and step into becoming the chosen one. And if you want help with this, if you don't want to sit on the sidelines, click the link below in the bio and join Quantum Level. Come in and work with me and the guys we have in there. We've got a group of killers and we're growing. We're pushing 200 members in the first 2 weeks. We're doing it. We're pushing it hard. Come on in. Don't sit in the sidelines. It's time to become the chosen one for yourself and for your family. I'll see you on our next one. Be blessed. Take care.